Hello everyone, how you guys doing? Hopefully you're having a wonderful Monday. We are back again with another Fanatics Weekly Review where I go through the top 100 soccer auctions this last week. As always, if you enjoy these weekly recaps, do make sure to leave a like. I'd appreciate it greatly. Helps me help the channel. Also, I will say I drew a frowny face with a tear coming out of it on the back board, but it's in yellow, so you really can't see it. Usually I like to put something up there, just letting you know I didn't forget about you this time. So let's go ahead and get rolling here. I am over on the Fanatics website. We're starting off on page 4 at the bottom with 100, well, really 96 cards left to go. And we're starting with a Zidane 2002 Panini FIFA World Cup opening series, PSA 9. Kind of a fun one here. There's actually a few of these opening series, which is weird because I've never really seen it, so I'm guessing it's a small subset of players more than likely. Pop 1 of 3 goes for 112. A decent price this week. I know last week I think we were at like 53 bucks to get into the weekly. A little bit higher of a bar this week, a little more stacked in total in terms of the auction block. Next to that, we have a triple auto here of Oscar, Willian, and Ramirez, kind of a weird trio there that you don't see all too often. Out of 25 goes for 112. Can't add a whole lot here on this 1908 Ogden's, but you got that going there for 115 with only 5 watchers, which is pretty impressive. This Ogden's I am a little bit more familiar with. Billy Meredith there, PSA 5. Barely does much of a premium over this, although that is a 7.5 to be fair. Kylian Mbappe, PSA 10 Topps Chrome, does 117. You have a Harry Kane out of 25 Definitive Ink for 120. Johan Cruyff promo from Puma 1969 and a PSA 5 goes for 120. You then have a Petrio. I'm not exactly sure if that's how that's pronounced, but I'll give it a shot. Typically I know this for the Stanley Matthews, but this is a J.A. Heel. This goes for 126 in a PSA 9 Pop 102, none higher. Another Ogden's here in a PSA 7, a H.E. Schurig that goes for 126. Above that, my first loss of the night. There will be a fair few in here, so I'm, not a happy camper, but it is what it is. Can't win them all. I guess before we get there, though, Stevie G sticker auto from 2023 Finest Green out of 99 goes for 132. Then you have the press proof die cut out of 100 Kylian Mbappe that goes for 138 in a PSA 9. Doesn't strike me as a terrible price considering it's a PSA 9. If you do the typical premiums, if a 10 of this is going for 300, 400, that feels like a decently strong price, at least for the card. Erling Haaland out of 10 field level. I did sort of take a stab at this, then I got distracted with something else that I also lost. Nonetheless, I did lose this one. I thought it was a, decent card. I am sort of partial to Erling Haaland with the Norway kit. I do like that as it's going to be consistent throughout his entire career, although the Man City one might be as well as time goes on, but this out of 10 goes for 138. I do like the field levels as well, and we have a couple really, really nice field levels that top this auction block in the gold parallel as well. Thought that was a fun one, so congrats whoever bought it. But 138, at least to me, this type of stuff, like if you're trying to collect a modern player, I do think that these types of cards could be fun, or at least a decent entry to just have some fun collecting cards. Because, there's a lot of people spending $500, $2,000 to prospect on a Lamine Yamal rookie. I mean, at some point or another, presumably Lamine Yamal is going to have these types of cards, which more than likely, are going to be around the same price as a Haaland or a Kylian Mbappe, and they only do like 100, 200 maybe for the most part, so I think it's a more approachable range, at least, for still a fun card. Above that, we have a Miroslav Klose going for 138 from the 2001 Foosball in a PSA 9. This is a rookie for him. Took a peek at that, as you do. And last price on this was 103 before this, so that's up a little bit before that. We have 117, 138 back in 2022, 108 in 2022, and then the highest price ever is a little over 300. So obviously down from that $300 sale way back when, but compared to more recent prices, that seems like a pretty decent result, I would say, for the inaction. As you can tell here, not many of the portrait shot, which seems to be sort of a consistent theme throughout all the stickers, which is weird, but it just always seems to work out that way. Beyond that, got a couple more Ogdens here going for 150 or so a piece. Above that, another Ogdens. You then have a Gunnar Nordahl from the 48 Sparbanken. Interesting one there, PSA 4. I did look that up last night just because I was curious. I really had no interest, but I was just sort of struck by it as I hadn't seen it all that often. Apparently doesn't come up all that often either, and I do think this was a fair price or something along those lines. It was hard to tell because there was like 7s that had sold, and I think there were some lower grades, so you kind of got to make what you can of it. But 156 on this one seemed fair. Not a rookie. Luckily, they didn't label it as a rookie, so good job, Fanatics. I'll give you one on that one, but Still a fun, somewhat early, somewhat rare release for him. So 156 on that is cool to see. Garincha here, Flashes Do Football, goes for 156. Doesn't strike me as a particularly low price. For some reason I keep missing these Garinchas, but this is one that I do really like myself and might have had my eye on had I for some reason seen it. I feel like that might have been flashed in. Sort of matches the name. And then we go a little higher here. To start, we have the 79 crack Diego Maradona PSA 3. This is considered a rookie, which is pretty egregious because it's third year, but I guess people call the 79 Calciatore the rookie as well, so you could probably get away with it, but this is sort of a release that has tons of different Diego Maradonas, so I would say, yeah, sure, the Panini Calciatore, you can kind of say what you want because it's first Panini sticker, but this is nothing of the like. I mean, he's got a lot of South American releases before this, so it seems like a good price. It is a PSA 3, which I guess for this type of stuff is pretty high. As you can see, Pop 104 just 3 higher, but I don't think that, at least it strikes me as a decent price considering the release style that it is. Next, we have a 63 Astros Do Football Garincha. Barely ever see this one. I can't recall if the last time I have, to be honest. So 156 on what seems like a pretty rare Garincha. Doesn't seem terrible. Only 21 watchers on that, so not a huge amount considering at least the rarity in my eye. But again, same thing. Didn't really strike me pre-auction. 2014 Cristiano Ronaldo Silver PSA 9. This one was interesting just because, obviously we've come so far down on these Prizm 2014 cards, especially for the best players. And man, 162 on this one. Obviously, we can remember days where, the base in a 10 was doing thousands, and now we're at the days where silver in a 9 does 162. And, some people might see that as an indictment of soccer. I think it's a really good thing. I think it means that people actually learned and grew and did other stuff, right? I think that if you didn't have other things doing, amazing numbers compared to where they were, and Prizm just tanked, then it would be a rough spot. But I think soccer's sort of grown, or I guess outgrown, that sort of youthful existence of just Prizm being the main thing that mostly Americans were chasing at the time. And I think that's good. But I also think, hey, if you're going after silvers of 2014, I think this is a fun pickup at 160. You don't see them a ton, as indicated here by the price history. The last silver in a PSA 9 we can see is 183, almost a year ago. Close to like 10 months, but still, 183 last year. You get it a little bit cheaper now. Fixed price last year, also 300. Obviously, if we keep going back, it's just going to get lower and lower. I guess maybe not. 220 in 2023. Obviously, during the boom, we're looking at multiple thousands. I guess, okay, you start to get into 2021, and we're looking at 1,600, 1,300. Surprisingly, these were never, I guess, all that high. It's not a 10, so people didn't want it during the boom. They only wanted 10s, but yeah, it seems like a fun price, especially considering at one point in time it was over 1,000. Now you can get it for 162. I don't know if we have any pre-boom pricing on this. Not really, so can't do much with that. Pre-boom, to be fair, probably wasn't a ton, but would have been nice to see. And then finally, to top page 4 here, we have a 2006 Mega Cracks PSA 9, goes for 162. This felt like, I always sort of am at least eyeballing the Mega Cracks because Messi Mega Cracks early career, if they go low, I'll snag one. I thought this was a respectable price, but maybe a bit low. So if you're trying to get this stuff, I think that was a decent entry. Then beyond that, 61 Leaf Dennis Law PSA 6 goes for 168. And finally, a P. McBride from Ogden's goes for 168 as well. A lot of Ogden's on this page. On page 3 here, we start with 1970 Johan Cruyff here, a Votball Weekbald that goes in a PSA 7. Pop 1 of 1, just one higher for 180. Don't see this a whole lot, as you can tell. Pop 1 of 1, just one higher, and I don't see him too much in these weeklies, so kind of surprising. The back on this is definitely something. If I had to guess, it's probably some sort of magazine cutout, I would think. Yeah, it says hand cut, which also sort of goes with it. It says photo gallery, or I'm not much of a translator, but that's what I'm going to say it is. So maybe an oddball release, definitely an oddball back, as you can tell, but nonetheless goes for 180. Next to it, we have 2018 PSA 10 Christian Pulisic Optic Red Velocity, goes for 180. Always kind of impressed with the prices of Christian Pulisic from the set. Obviously not a rookie, it's third-year stuff for him. I do like the Red Velocity with the USA kit, sort of a color match going on there. It goes for 180. Pop 1 of 6, Felt like, to me, a decent price. Above that, I did lose this Pele again. I bid on this kind of early. These were sitting at like $50 or something. And, SGC has a tendency to just give lazy A's, as the people call them, which is basically where they just call things authentic and don't really elaborate further. It says min size not met, but to me it seemed like the borders were pretty decent on this. Nonetheless, 186 felt like a fair price compared to what a lot of the other ones of these do. But at one point in time, it was not at all, so I was willing to take a stab. 95 R9, the junior sticker here, PSA 8 goes for 186. As we know, these have come down a little bit, but, I'll always say that they're one of my favorites of R9 early career stickers in terms of look. Just a classic picture there for him. Some more Ogdens scattered throughout. We have a 1978 Argentina rookie. Again, rookie of Zico. PSA 8 goes for 198. This is a 6th year Zico, if memory serves me correct. So, how close is it to a rookie? What are you going to do? Anyways, this PSA 8 goes for nearly 200, and that's the third highest sale of all time, but the highest sale since May 7, 2023. So, a pretty impressive come up. A couple of them went for 126, 115, so, nearly 200 is a pretty good price. Apologies for the darkness here. The sun's starting to go down, so I'm going to go probably half and half in terms of the face lighting here, but nonetheless, Phil Foden Kaboom next to it. PSA 9 goes for 204 from 2023 Donruss. Beyond that, the classic 2019 Sapphires that we're all too accustomed to seeing. I did not mean to click on that. We know what they look like. But, that one goes for basically $200. You got a groovy Erling Haaland. I haven't seen one of those in this auction yet, so that's interesting. The groovies, I'm pretty sure, were case hits out of Premier League Prizm. They didn't really hit, I don't think, but seemingly they are doing okay. $200 there. Only 11 watchers, which isn't ideal. You got another Puma promo here. This one, the one that I'm more familiar with, just generally speaking. The Cruyff and Eusebio 5 goes for 204. Above that, a 44 Moreno here in a 1.5 goes for 210. You also have a Pele Leaf Auto. Looks like kind of the Cosmos going on, but 7.5 grade goes for 216 with the 10 auto. Got a Drogba Prizm PSA 10 for 228. No auto grade, but just from afar, the auto looks okay. I mean, it's probably maybe going off sticker at one of those points, but generally looks like it stayed on. So that's a pretty cool one if you're into the 2014 Prizm auto run. 10s are not easy. A Drogba 10 probably even less easy, but seemingly an okay price if you're putting that stuff together. 2017 Kylian Mbappe Silver in a 9 goes for 228. A prelude to the top card of the auction block here. This is the silver. We'll be seeing the gold later in a 9. This goes for 228. These, of course, from the booming days are down a lot. I really do like them, just generally speaking, the field levels from 2017 and field levels in general. I'm a kind of a field level simp, if I'm being honest. Don't have tons of them, but I have a few, and Kylian Mbappe 2017 would at least be a standout to me. I do remember the days where a base was doing big numbers, and now you can get a silver, so, that's impressive. Not a ton of parallels in that run either, so if you're into that stuff, I think it's pretty cool. For the price point, doesn't seem too bad. Christian Pulisic here, 2020 sticker auto Panini Rewards goes for 228. Kind of seems like a high price to me, but a lot of Pulisic stuff's doing good numbers lately, which is fun for me. Obviously, Pulisic's doing pretty well. Sort of an American hobby darling. So even if he wasn't doing that well, he's probably always going to be overpriced to what European collectors think he should be. But obviously, at the end of the day, it's all about where the collectors are, and there are a decent amount of American soccer collectors, so Pulisic could do good numbers. Sort of seems like a random card to me, but getting 228, I think that seems like a pretty decent price for an SGC 9.5. Next to it, we have 2004. Really, I think these are labeled as 2006 now, but this is Cristiano Ronaldo PSA 10 that goes from the UK Traditions set for 234. Above that, another Pulisic auto, again, sort of seems somewhat random, but it is numbered out of 10, so it's got that going for it. Going for 240 and an SGC 10. Another Ogdens here, and Ernest Needham. That is a name I am familiar with, so, nice to see him up there. Goes for 252. 95 R9 here, rookie, PSA 8, rookie. Goes for 252. Decent price. Again, I thought the other one was a PSA 8, but maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, the other one was too. That went for 186, so maybe someone's buying the eye appeal there. Maybe someone just didn't see the other. I'm not quite sure. 2010 Messi Autografo. This goes for 264. I think that's a bit down. I know at times we've seen this go as high as like 300 to 400, but it seems like they just go to auction every week. Presumably they're just, kind of a lot of them going out to auction. I doubt that people wouldn't be paying this consistently. More along the same lines, now this is a rookie. This R9 goes for $264 and a PSA 3 with the eye appeal designation. Seems like a pretty good price for 3. Obviously, the eye appeal is going to help it. I'm more impressed. I mean, 46 watches for a PSA 390 sticker. That's not bad, huh? Then a 22 Godfrey Phillips Footballers Nils Middlebow. This pinnace goes for $276 and a PSA 6 pop 1 of 1, none higher. Now on to page 2. We start here with an Ansu Fati rookie. There you go. There you go. That's a throwback. Out of 8, Obsidian Contra and a PSA 8.5. Goes for $276. Pop 1 of 1. There you go. 1963 Eusebio Blue Name Velita back in a PSA 1.5. Goes for nearly $300. That feels like a decent price, at least compared to... not going to brag, but, the only comparable sale I had to go off of as of late was I bought a yellow that I believe was a PSA 1, but the yellows are more rare than this, and that was around the same price. So to me, this seems like a somewhat strong grade. Excuse me, I mean somewhat strong price, but, nonetheless, it is a pretty good eye appeal, at least looking from here, so maybe that's sort of playing into it. The Velita backs are a bit more rare than the regular blue names as well, so it is going to command a premium in that regard. I also will say, just generally, I mean, we've seen some high grades of the Eusebios go, but I don't think we've seen a lot of just Eusebio 63 Paninis in general going, so maybe that's sort of helping it as well. Then we got a Bob Crompton here from Ogden's. That goes for $288, a PSA 8, pump 1 of 2, none higher. Kylian Mbappe, Merlin Chrome Red out of 10, PSA 9 goes for $300. You then have a Color Blast Lewandowski for $300 and a PSA 10 as well, along with a Desailly 1988 foot sticker. Look that one up, and we don't see it too much. I do have to close that one. This one is what we're looking for. Same exact price as the last one, so, I guess in that regard, pretty decent result considering they were only a few months apart on a pretty rare sticker. The 2022 sale here for $540, still not looking great. I do believe that's the same sticker as this one, yeah, so that got resold and, not the best price. But to be able to get the same price as the last one, when, before that it had dropped, I mean, that's tough. It had dropped like 40% after not selling for 2 years. Probably not what you're looking for, but, in a much worse scenario where it's 3 months later and it's the same exact grade, it's selling for the same price. So that's probably a decent indicator. Decent amount of watchers on that as well with 35. Above that, 96 Merlin. David Beckham PSA 8 goes for $324. I'm a little bit more confused when it comes to David Beckham rookies, so I'm not going to lambast Fanatics for that one because, I'm confused as well, but... I'm not sure if that's a rookie. Anyways, what are we going to do? 95 Foot Zidane, the nice blue sticker and a PSA 8 goes for $324. If you're putting together a run, I think that seems like a pretty fun one in terms of sticker and price. $324 for a pop 1 of 6, just too higher. Not all that crazy. Sort of a color match there with the kit as well, so that's cool to see. Next we have a 55 Vecchi Garincha rookie. This one is at least classed a bit more as a rookie, considering the earlier ones are very rare, and so this goes for $324. We had seen one recently go under $200, so it's a nice sale compared to that one, but that one was very beat up. We've also seen some PSA ones do really high prices lately, so I think this is on the lower end. I also don't think it's the best looking one. I guess we can see the back real quick and just give it sort of a peek. Back doesn't look terrible, so if you're trying to get in on a Vecchi, that doesn't seem like a bad one. Above that, Lamine Yamal Auto goes for $336, probably one of the cheaper prices I've seen an auto of his going for. Now it is an Obsidian out of $199, so fair play. Next to it, we have a Paxiao Portugal sticker of Cristiano Ronaldo. This in a PSA 9 does $336. I do believe we saw 10 of this go for crazy numbers at one point, so a pop 1 of 11 for $336. Comparatively, seems like a good price. These generally have really, really tough centering, so a 9 is not easy, and from what I understand, this is the earliest you see Cristiano Ronaldo in a Portuguese kit. A 64 Velita PSA 1.5 Panini Calciatori of Pele goes for $336 there, pop 1 of 2, 10 higher. Above that, you have a 58 Pele. Now this is sort of an in-action shot, of course, that goes for $350. We had seen a 3, I believe, last week go for around $300, so it's basically right in line with that. A Kylian Mbappe sticker from 2022, sticker auto, of course, PSA 9/10 out of 50. I do remember the days where Kylian Mbappe autos were practically impossible to find, and now you got an Obsidian sticker auto only doing $360, kind of a far ways that we strayed from there. 2018 gold sticker goes for nearly $400. I'm not going to say anything about the rookie label. Anyways, $400 for a PSA 10. You don't see these golds as much, certainly, as the normal sticker that I believe is pink back and also, I want to say black back, but it could be blue. Anywho, PSA 10 for 400 does seem like a pretty good price for what is a 2018 Panini sticker. You could probably sometimes get a PSA 9 rookie sticker for that price. And me personally, as someone that doesn't own basically any Mbappe, I'd much rather have the rookie sticker in a PSA 9. Although I will say 2018 World Cup is obviously a big moment for Mbappe as well. So having something from that World Cup would also be cool. Don't get me wrong, but all to say that price sort of impressed me. This one as well did. PSA 7 Messi rookie. Again, we haven't been seeing as many Messi rookies in these auctions. I mean, in the past, there were some auctions where you could see like 10 or 20. We haven't seen that in forever. This one goes in a PSA 7 for 408, and typically, I mean, I would have imagined this to be closer to 300 almost all the time, so that seems like a pretty good price there. Next, you have an Itaraf from 74. Typically, I remember this set for the Cruyff, but you have a Garincha PSA 7 that goes for 408. Pretty far post-playing career. I'm guessing the Pop 1 of 1 just one higher along with a nice design gets that price, but 408 seems like a mighty fine price on that. Erling Haaland 2019 sticker in a PSA 10 goes for 444. We know that those have dropped a fair bit, but that seems like it's at least, in line with what prices have been as of late. First, second, third print, I'm not sure. I don't really remember the differences. I did at one point in time, but I no longer am all that knowledgeable on the scenario. Above that, a couple vintage in this row, along with a 1 of 1 Griezmann. We have a PSA 4 Beckenbauer rookie that goes for 456 from the 65 Bergman set. Strikes me as a fair price, probably. I think that these, especially in lower grade, have kind of kicked back up a bit. There were some really low sales at one point, so I think they're doing a bit better. But a lot of high grades have come out from the boom until now. Pre-boom, it was super hard to find high grades, and now it's a bit more forthcoming, so, they don't get the same premium they once did, but if you're looking to get one, that might be a beneficial thing. Here you have a 67 Sticker Verlag Johan Cruyff. This is, I believe, the earliest sticker / card of Johan Cruyff, at least in a typical hobby sort of release. Now it is a panel, which, most people aren't going to be huge fans of. I think it looks all right, though. PSA 2 goes for 456. This is a relatively good sale. There have been some, I believe, in twos that have gone as low as like 300 at times, so 456 is a bit better. There's a couple different backs as well on this. I don't know which one's more rare than the other, so this one it's sort of spread apart. There's one where you only see Bundesliga AC once on the back, and it goes across the full card. Presumably, you would guess that the one that says Bundesliga AC across the top once is the original release, and then they sort of modified it and said it'd probably look better since you're going to cut these down the middle to have it on both sides. Assuming that's the case, I guess this is sort of the second print of them if you really want to get technical, but I do not know that. I'm just sort of conjecturing here. So yeah, don't run with that. But, if you think it makes sense, then, do what you want with that info. Nonetheless, next to it, we have a Griezmann in a 1 of 1 2018 Immaculate Collection Platinum that goes for 468. Seems like a decent price, but 1 of 1s are always going to do decent prices, especially sort of pre-2020 1 of 1s. Honestly, even post-2020 1 of 1s do good prices. So 500 nearly on this one. I do think generally Griezmann has a lot of hobby love, and I think it's almost a lot because he also collects cards. I don't think he's posted on his account on Instagram in a while. I don't know. I'm guessing someone else was running it for him, but probably posting his cards. I don't know. I didn't talk to him in DMs or anything, but I don't think he's posted in a while, but I do think he gets a lot more hobby love for being a part of the hobby, which is cool to see, but also a little concerning because maybe at one point if he sort of fades out of it, that might not be there anymore. He also really doesn't do a whole lot, I don't believe, with soccer. He's sort of like a basketball guy, which, to be fair, if you're probably playing soccer all day, practicing soccer all day, doing all this stuff, you probably don't want to go home and collect soccer. You probably want to escape a little bit. So, no fault to him. But all to say, seems like a pretty good price for a 2018 Immaculate 1 of 1. And then finally, in the top of page 2 here, we have an Estampas Diego Maradona with the eye appeal designation. Top 30% goes for 552. From here, the colors do look pretty good. I've talked about it a lot, but the Estampas is super hard to get nice colors. That does look pretty nice from my point of view, and 552 sort of represents that. These have done really well in sort of holding up around an area where some of the other like 78 cracks have dropped a bit. Well, I think they're doing better now, but the 78 cracks have dropped further than the Estampases did. I think the Estampases are a little bit harder to come by, but at the same time, sometimes can look really, really tough. This one obviously doesn't, gets a decent price. We'll see a 2 here in a second that doesn't get a huge premium over this one because the eye appeal is not there. Next to it, you have the 92 Panini Calendarios Figo. This goes for $630 in a PSA 8. And then finally, a PSA 3 record Garincha and Pele from 1958 that goes for $630 with the eye appeal sticker. And now we go to page 1. So starting here, we have a nice trio of Americans. There you go, $630 here for this NT, Christian Pulisic, Landon Donovan, and Clint Dempsey in a PSA 9. Really fun card. At another point in time, this probably would have been a hobby grail of mine, but since I'm no longer a fan really of sticker autos and try to stay away from them, not as huge on it, but at the same time, I do respect it as an American collector, and cool to see one of those go in this auction. Also, decent amount of watchers there with 62. Also with a decent amount of watchers here, 66 on this BGS 8 1995 R9. This went for $750, which to me, in a world where BGS stickers are probably a grade or two lower than, well, I guess if you sub them to PSA, they're probably a grade or two lower. So this is a 6 or a 7 going for $750. Feels like a decent price. At the same time, 66 watchers and still in a BGS 8 slab. I guess I can see why it does what it does. Really fun sticker, and the price point, again, while I say it's strong, I think it's strong relative to other sales as of late. I do believe this one sold closer to the Boom, the same exact copy for like 2,000 plus, so a decent haircut there for whoever had it. But at the same time, I think if you're a buyer, could be a fun one. A 2021 Pele Mosaic Auto goes for $750 here in a 9.510 grade. Above that, this is the Maradona Stampas I was talking about. As you can see, the color's not as vivid. Gets a PSA 2 grade though, so it does a little bit higher of a price at $780. Depends if you want the eye appeal or the grade. I can understand going for either, especially when the price difference isn't all that much. You're just talking $200 more to get another grade higher, but of course, it doesn't look as good on the front, so that's always the trade-off. 2022 Cristiano Ronaldo auto goes for $810 in a PSA 9/10 auto. Then you have a PSA 5 TTT, the Tausen Tolatori of Franz Beckenbauer. PSA 5, super hard grade, at least for these. Generally, these are a lot more rare than the Bergmans, also in high grade, sort of the same thing as you can see here. Pop 1 of 1, 9 higher, so a top 10 item, at least for this TTT. Goes for $900, which is probably in the ballpark. Again, you don't see a lot of these sell. I would imagine you haven't seen one of these graded sell in this grade, but I could be wrong. Maybe this is resold at some point, but I didn't look it up. All I know is, the 2s and the 3s go for like a few $100 probably. So a 5 doing $900 seems like a fair multiple, and a decent multiple at that. Above that, you got a row here, about $1,000. Take your pick. The 71 bits, sub 1K, if you're looking for it in a decently approachable price. That seems like it. And also, the eye appeal on it, it doesn't seem bad. I guess the surface is a 1.5, which is really what's killing it here. The corners also seem pretty tough. Yeah, the corners are pretty beat, don't get me wrong. But man, okay, that's sort of what we're looking at there with the surface, the chipping on the front. Obviously, that's going to do a lot. And, yeah, the back, man, what is it, a 2 for 2.5? It doesn't seem terrible. Obviously, it's a bit of an eyesore, those chips on the front. Once you see them, it's kind of hard not to. But looking from afar, I thought that looked like a decent copy and presents pretty well for 2.5. Along with it, 2018 Neymar Kaboom goes for $990. I do like the 2018 sort of design. Gives a lot of area for the Kaboom to sort of shine. PSA 10 goes for about 1K on that. Next, we have a 2022 1 of 1 Harry Kane Living Legends. Now, this is a platinum bar, which, from my understanding, the platinum itself in this is worth about $1,000, so that's mostly where the value comes from here. Keeping it moving, 2013 Topps 5-Star Pele Auto PSA 7. I believe the earliest Topps Pele Auto. I'd find it hard to believe there's earlier than this. Pop 1 of 4, none higher, goes for $1,400. Kind of an unlicensed product, but at the same time, you got a nice big Pele auto there on a green and yellow card. So if you're looking for a cool Pele, that seems to be right up the alley. Alternatively, could go the modern prospecting route here with a 2020 Jude Orange from Bundesliga in a PSA 8/9 or a Topps Prize Footballers 1 of 1 of Vinny Jr. PSA 9 goes for $1,500 there. I believe we've seen that one sell before. I say that, as soon as I said that, I think I'm lying. I think I just saw it last week and it's just kind of come back to mind. Really hard for me to speak on, honestly, either of those, as I'm not too into the weeds, but it seems like fair prices. Keep in mind, obviously, this is an insert on the far left, and Jude has a decent amount of options as well. Still a good amount of watchers, which is always nice to see. The Pele does sort of dwarf them, but that's always going to be the case in on-card Pele. Interestingly enough, we have a 2021 Finest 1 of 1 Robert Lewandowski here, so you have the base 1 of 1 from 2021 Finest or the insert 1 of 1 of Vinny for basically the same price. as much as I want to say Lewandowski, I probably take Lewandowski, but also considering the fan base and the avid sort of love for the younger players in the hobby, kind of surprising that Vinny does basically the same price from that regard. I guess grade also matters, even though it's a 1-to-1. The insert is a PSA 9. The Lewandowski is a 10, so that's going to, mean a bit of something to someone out there. Next, we have a 2002 Cristiano Ronaldo rookie. Now, this is a true rookie. There you go. The sticker in a PSA 9 OC does nearly 2K. Generally speaking, when you work on the registry, a designation like an OC is going to give you a -2 in terms of grade. So a lot of people look at this type of stuff, a 9 with I'm blanking on what they're called, but whenever they have that sort of delineation of being OC, miscut, marked, whatever, most people take that down 2 grades. It can be debated if that's enough. It's probably fair, I would say, but it could be light. Especially if it's like a mark or something like that. But nonetheless, this gets 2K, which for a PSA 7 feels like a pretty decent price for the sticker itself. This raffle layout, we've seen this sell like 8 times now. I have no clue. This is one of the higher prices I've seen, so that makes me think even less that it's getting paid for, but I have no clue why it keeps selling. We're down to 16 watchers on it at this point. I wish someone would just let it go, but I don't know if we ever will. And I wish Fanatics would do something about whoever's constantly buying this or, trying to sell it and not selling. I don't know. I'm just going to assume it's got rerun because someone's shilling it over and over and over. And then row above that, don't want to talk about it too much, but 2002 Upper Deck, legendary red David Beckham auto out of 100, PSA 8. Really cool to see it. Really cool to see an in-career David Beckham auto from Manchester United on card. All the good stuff you want. Upper Deck having some early releases with Manchester United in the early 2000s is a pretty cool thing to have in the hobby, I believe. And 2200 on this PSA 8, we can go back and look. Seems like a decent price, at least compared to the last sale. Last one was $2,500 on a fixed price. This fixed price, not really loading at the moment, but this went for $2,500 in a PSA 7. So, getting a PSA 8 for $2,200, not bad. To be fair, obviously it seems like it dipped a little bit, but at the same time, this same PSA 7 had actually sold on Golden during the 2022 World Cup sales, and this one had sold for $1,500 at the time. So whoever bought that made a nice $1,000 minus the fees, whatever. And this seems at least fairly in line. Really cool card to see. As you can tell, you don't see it that often, so fun to see go in an auction here. Then the Galactic Messi. I am sad about this. I actually really gave this a shot. I think I pushed this from like $1,500 to $2,400 myself. Well, me and whoever else was out there bidding on it. So sad I wasn't able to bring that one home, as I really did want it. If we go back and look at the comps, there's only been a few. It comes up maybe once a year. As you can see here, last sale was $2,100, so I went a little bit over comps, it seems like things are generally turning, but also I wanted the card, and I was willing to pay a little higher. I didn't want to go too crazy, though. To be fair, in the other sense, the 2023 comp here was $5,500, and then sort of pre-boom in January of 2020, it was $1,300, and not a huge growth from pre-boom to now. However, to be fair, that's because pre-boom, these were really big cards. Like 2019, 2020, Galactics were all the rage. They're not really all the rage anymore. Obviously, this price is still a good price, don't get me wrong, but Messi is sort of the guy in the set, along with Cristiano Ronaldo, of course, and a 9.5 grade, not all that easy. Also, this is the base card, so it has a lot of things going for it, but only doubling over the last 5 years in a world where soccer collecting's gotten tons of new collectors. Not really the best result, and this is something that, I want to sort of warn other people about. Like, these were really, really chased cards in 2020, 2019, and now, they're sort of an afterthought, and that's not to say that at some point there'll be huge chases again, because probably not, but it's to say that a lot of these cards nowadays that are huge chases, they very well could go the way of Galactics, and even worse in some scenarios. Like, this Messi is up, but there are other Galactics that are down or even in a world where there's tons of soccer collectors. And, what if a lot of soccer collectors left? That could be even worse for whatever cards are, all the rage nowadays. So a potential good lesson to learn from there. As for me, it's just a sad card that I didn't end up winning and was really, really excited about. So yeah, what are you going to do? Maybe next time, maybe in another year or two. But 2022 National Treasures Lionel Messi out of 5. Patch auto goes for $27.60. Next to that, in a PSA 9. Above that, another Messi auto here. A gold ink from 2024 Panini Prizm Copa America goes for $3,400 nearly. BGS Pop 101, none higher with the 910 grade. And then next to him, take your pick. BGS 8 71 bits or BGS 75 Cristiano Ronaldo Mega Cracks. These ones, in high grade, in PSA 10s, the 71 bis does huge numbers compared to the Ronaldo. Now, part of that, I believe, is that the Ronaldo, I believe, is around double the pop compared to the 71 bis in a PSA 10. But in the med grades, they're relatively even, which is pretty strange. Personally, I believe it's because, well, one, Ronaldo has less rookies to choose from, so there's going to be a bit more eyeballs on his big rookie. Not that I think the 71 bis is lacking, but, I think it's a factor. And beyond that, the Mega Cracks, the Portuguese release, is going to be a bit more niche, and so I think that they're a bit more rare, and so the medium grades do a bit better than maybe the higher grades do, as people are just sort of trying to get one. So take your pick here. I think, at the same price, I'd almost always take the bis, but at the same time, as someone that has the bis and doesn't have the Ronaldo, I'd probably take the Ronaldo. But yeah, not crazy prices here, not great prices either, I would say. The BGS bis doing $4,300 doesn't seem like a crazy high price, especially. I think we've seen some other ones do closer to around $5K as of late. But a fun one there to go ahead and compare. And then we end off the auction block with some big hitters. So first off is this 2023 Black Messi 1/1 from Topps. We've seen this sell already, and presumably it just didn't go through. Someone didn't pay, I would guess. I do believe the last time it went was nearly the same price, so not a whole lot difference there. It was plus or minus 1,000, around 10K from my memory, so it seems like it's in the same ballpark. Comparing that to other Messi MLS releases, it seems like the price point made sense then and seemingly still makes sense now. And then next to it, take your pick here. I guess you could have either the Mbappe rookie in a PSA 9, or you could have the 2017 PSA 10 gold Cristiano Ronaldo along with the Messi as well. I think it's a fun thought experiment. If you're probably going the safer route, obviously take the Messi Ronaldo. I do think the Mbappe is a really cool card for him. And as you can tell, a lot of other people thought so as well, considering his does double the price of the Ronaldo, despite being a grade lower. Now, obviously, this is rookie category, and I do agree with the rookie statement here. Of course, I always like to say the 2016 is the only true rookie, but at the same time, if we're talking rookie cards, for sure 2017 is a rookie, and the gold doing nearly 20,000 definitely indicates that as well. Really, really nice card, as you can see here. Got the gold NBA as well. You could probably take that off if you think it's an eyesore. Parallel match NBA sticker, so it's got that going for it. But yeah, they never list what numbers these are. I guess it really doesn't matter for Mbappe. He's number 29, but I wish they would. That's number 6 out of 10, and I think the Ronaldo is 1 out of 10. Okay. Interesting to see those both go. In terms of past sales here, we do have some for the Ronaldo. A 9.5 went for $7,800. When was that? A couple years ago. So, a little bit of a premium on this 10. Doesn't feel like a super strong price, as if the cards really bumped up all that much. But golds really did have a run at some point, I think closer to 2022. Because as you can see here, this actually, the select Terrace had only gone from 1,300 to 1,400 throughout the boom. But at one point in time, I do believe it was 2022, gold, Messi, and Ronaldo, they were just doing crazy numbers. Doesn't really show up here as these haven't sold that much, but 10.5, clearly a nice step up there. The field level generally is the more desired within the select releases, as it's the shortest printed. You have the least amount of parallels. And, just looks amazing as well. Kind of hard to see there since it was a little off screen, but I think the field levels are just amazing eye candy, especially when you get a gold out of 10, especially an Mbappe rookie year. Just a huge card for him. Also, I think this card, at least for Mbappe, from my point of view, is like a top 50 card for him, almost however you slice it. Unless you clearly put the 2017 Topps Chrome Gold above this, but, there's 50 of the Topps Chrome Golds. There's only 10 of these. Beyond that, you have probably his 1/1 Museum, you have his 1/1 Topps Chrome, you have his out of 10 Topps Chrome. The orange, I don't really think you would put there, but maybe. The select, you're only going to have the out of 5 green, and then the 1/1, and the green, I'd personally rather take the gold. So I think this is, if you like the select a lot, it's probably like a top 30 card for Mbappe rookies. If you like the, Topps Chrome a little bit more, then it's probably closer to like a top 80. But no matter which way you slice it, an amazing rookie card for him, especially if you only consider 2017 to be his rookie. If you're counting 2018, I guess it gets a bit more fuzzy. But me personally, I don't really. And I guess so for the matter of this conversation, I'm going to control it to that. But if you want to let it, breathe a bit wider, I guess you could as well. But yeah, that looks like it was it for this weekly. Really fun weekly, except for my loss. But generally speaking, in terms of cards and, what you guys were able to get, fun weekly. Lots of good stuff in here. I have taken a small peek towards next weekly. I'll go ahead and see what else they got there. Looking forward to next week here. We start with an Anina Puskás. It's already at 4,000 here. A massive vintage item in a decent grade. Pop 1 of 1, 9 higher. Already at nearly 4K. Got a Messi Eminence here from 2022, along with a Lamine Yamal Kaboom. 1 of 1 Griezmann, already at nearly 500 here for the base. We also have a 1 of 1 Emerald Patch Messi. You have a Merlin out of 100 Ruby of Zinedine Zidane, so that's a big one there. The Ruby Merlins are always a great one, and a great player as well there. That's a really, really fun one. You got a treble Mbappe along with a Piola from 31, 1 of 1 Cristiano Ronaldo. Another 71 bis, some more Ronaldo, and just a lot of fun to be had next week. Probably not as big of a hitter. I was going to say I don't know if we're going to have a $10,000+ card, but that Puskás, I'm not too familiar with comps, but very well could be that. Eminence Messi as well, surely will do okay. And yeah, hopefully you're looking forward to it. I'm just going to end the video here because my face is really dark. The sun's gone down, and it looks a bit better this way. So hopefully you enjoyed. As always, if you did, make sure to leave a like. I'd appreciate it greatly. Anything you want to tell me or others, something you snagged, thoughts a little high or low, would love to see it down below in a comment. And if you want to see more videos like this as soon as I go live, make sure to subscribe. But with that said, hopefully you have a wonderful day, and peace.